guys, how we doing?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Gavin.
Okay, so things are gonna be a little different this week. The season 5 premiere is a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when it aired originally, it was all one big episode. You guys asked us if we would just do it all together, so we're gonna do it. But that means that next week, no Mad Men.
Right. We're going to do it as two separate videos because, one, that's how it's going to be split anyway on the service. So, but we're going to do them both back to back, and we're going to put them both up today. But next week, we're not going to for a number of reasons. One, it's going to throw off our schedule as far as editing with YouTube.
Yes.
And two, we are coming to the end, of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And we need a replacement show.
Yes.
We would like to do the Good Place because it's been recommended by so many people, and tonally it's a comedy as well.
Sure.
Except it's a NBC show.
Yeah.
And we are over 2 on getting NBC shows past the YouTube censors or the copyright holders
for whatever reason.
Or whoever, right. We tried Superstore and we tried
30 Rock,
and both of them were completely blocked. It's the only 2 shows we've had blocked. It's the only 2 shows we've tried off of NBC, so it might not work. So we're going to take the time next week when we would have done Mad Men and do a trial of The Good Place.
Yeah.
We'll edit it, we'll put it up, and we'll see if it's going to work or if we need to go back to the drawing board.
We said on the we just finished Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. We said on that episode that if it doesn't work, if you guys want to send some suggestions for comedy shows to replace Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and shows that are like The Good Place, if you have a suggestion, let us know.
Yeah, of course. We're always looking for suggestions on shows.
But we'll obviously know by next week. Right. Also on YouTube, it'll be separate on YouTube as well.
Right.
So the first episode goes up 1 week. The next week, then
for YouTube, nothing's going to change because the time it takes to edit an episode of Mad Men, we're not going to edit 2 episodes of Mad Men in the exact in a condensed time frame. So
if you're watching this on YouTube, it's over there.
Right. Yeah. If you're like, well, you guys only did the first part. Yes, we did over on Patreon. The second part's there right now. If you'd like to see that along with the next several episodes. Yeah. Specifically getting into this,
I'm so excited. Okay.
I am too.
So the seeds they planted in season 4 with the whole Megan situation, holy cow! Like, talk about a misdirect. Like, I did not see Megan coming out of left field like that.
Right.
Or Dawn proposing Megan, because she's been there. She's been like a background character essentially
for a while. Yeah.
You know, like obviously her character grew as the season went on. But
you know what? And this just occurred to me right now. You remember the first secretary that Dawn hooked up with?
Yes, I do.
When she was crying when they were doing the market research.
Yeah.
And she was talking about boyfriends and stuff. And I don't know if she obviously never mentioned Dawn, but Megan was one of the people that was in supporting her to get her through that.
Oh yeah.
And then Megan's in the same position, except she takes the power position on that.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
With Dawn.
And Faye was obviously the one running it too. So that's so crazy.
I mean, look at how manic and weird it is, right?
Yeah.
Dawn is telling Faye, I'm really going to miss you when you're gone. His girlfriend, as he goes on vacation, and while he's on vacation, he gets engaged to somebody else. It's nuts.
It's psychotic.
And
it really is.
And we got that reaction from everyone in the office, right? Even the people who were like saying congratulations because you're supposed to.
Okay.
The look of Roger owned that moment. Asked her to get ice.
Yeah. Get some ice. I love the bit where he's like, "What, are you 2 getting married now too?" Yeah, Roger had a great episode.
He did, and because there is some hypocrisy there that Roger gets to point out. When Roger married his much younger secretary,
it was Dawn's secretary, wasn't it?
She'd gotten fired, and she hit on Roger to keep her job. And they got married. Dawn called him pathetic. Right? Everyone's laughing at you.
He did.
Over it. And now Dawn's doing exactly the same thing. And now it's like, how much of a bigger man is Roger supposed to be right now?
I know. So do you think that we're going to see Jane as often... I'm sorry, not Jane. We're going to see Megan as often as we do Jane? Because I feel like we really don't see Jane at all.
I feel like because it's more Dawn's show than Roger's.
I was kind of thinking that.
I feel like we're going to see Megan about like we saw Betty.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, Dawn's home life is going to be important moving forward.
Yeah.
And it has been every season. It was big in season 4. He was just alone for the most part.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of his home life with Megan.
We don't see a lot of Betty either. So
because she's not there with Dawn.
She's not there anymore.
Right. And what we saw wasn't grand.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's interesting to think that she was a background character. Now she's basically going to be one of the main characters.
Megan? Yeah.
That's a huge come up for a show. And also, like, the writers must have had that in the back of their minds, obviously, because we got to cast somebody that can actually, go toe to toe with Don Draper,
right?
Go toe to toe with Roger, with January Jones. I'm assuming eventually at some point.
I mean, you never know really how much a show's planned unless
Sure.
they let it slip. Like, I always assume Mad Men and Better Call Saul were. Mad Men, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul were really planned out all the way through because there's so much precision to the plotting and the writing. They weren't.
Really?
Vince Gilligan and his team were just amazing.
The Jesse thing in season 1, obviously,
Yeah. Dean Norris and Jesse were both supposed to be very, very limited on the show, but they were so good that they extended them.
Maybe it's the same thing with Megan. Then.
Hard to say, right? That's the reason I bring it up is maybe it was planned all along that Megan was going to be in this position, and maybe it was like we have this actress, and then every time we kind of increase what she does, she crushes it, right? She has great chemistry with Jon Hamm.
She's great chemistry. Yeah.
Maybe we just go this direction. Maybe in a lot of ways, she's a replacement for Betty, for Dawn. Right, another young, beautiful ingenue, to kind of fill that hole. Someone that's there. And in a lot of ways, she's different, right?
Yeah, she's very much so. She's a lot better with the kids.
Much better with the kids. And to be fair to Betty, she didn't have to raise them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
She was great with them when they spilled the milkshake. But as Betty has pointed out many times, she's not there with them all the time like she is. It's a different story.
They were on vacation,
right? It's like the parents versus the grandparents.
Exactly. That's a great comparison.
The grandparents get to swoop in, have fun, and swoop out like Megan does. It's a lot different when you're in that parenting role.
They're kids, but they're not babies. I mean, obviously, Jean's a baby. But
Jean's right, but Bobby and definitely Sally aren't.
Yeah, Bobby seems to be like the most chill kid ever. Like he's just down for whatever.
Right.
But Sally is also an interesting time in her life as well. Like she's not approaching womanhood, but she's also she's having certain revelations. You know what I mean? Like she's getting to a certain age to where like kids are gonna start having questions and figuring stuff out. And
yeah, dumb question. Do they know that they got engaged? Like, did Dawn mention it to the kids?
I don't know. Well, because it was on vacation.
It was on vacation, but they weren't in the room. And he did go home and call Betty and tell her, which means the kids didn't.
He had to have known.
Well, I don't think they did because the kids would have told her, right?
The kids definitely would have told her, yeah.
Instead, he waited till the next morning after they got back to call and tell her himself.
Huh.
So I don't think that the kids know yet.
I mean, I think they would. I think they'd like it.
Yeah, I
because they liked her a lot.
Yeah, I mean they didn't seem to overly rebel with Henry.
No.
And that would have been more jarring because it was the first one post divorce. You know what I mean? Like there's this all of a sudden third person, and now it's a little more old hat. Okay, well then Dad's going to get remarried. So,
I've seen so many of his girlfriends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they've gotten abandoned on sleepovers for dates.
By the way, Henry, growing on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that moment with him drinking the beer in the dark, kind of having an argument with Betty,
Right. No one's ever on your side. I mean,
it was a really good acting performance, but also just a really good moment on the show for the characters.
No, I think that was an episode. Again, we're not going to get too much into this, but where
a lot of you guys agreed with us too. Thank you.
Right, in that we saw Betty at her absolute worst, and it was nice that the one person that the only person left whose judgment she trusts, which I assume is Henry's, he's the one to say, actually, this is kind of on you, and not on anyone else.
Somebody also pointed out there was a line that Dawn and Betty had. We're talking forever, and I apologize, but there's a line that Dawn and Betty had at the end where when he's telling her that he's engaged about how how's the new house, and she's like, it's not great or whatever,
right?
And people think that that's supposed to be like an analogy for her marriage.
For sure, right? How are things now? Well, things aren't great. Yeah. One last quick thing. I several years ago was reading some I think it might have been Entertainment Weekly about the greatest seasons in the 20th century of television.
Oh, I like that stuff.
I do too. And whatever journalist wrote this, I don't have any idea. But they said that season 5 of Mad Men, in their opinion, was the greatest season of television of this century so far.
Really?
Yeah, which I'm very much looking forward to this.
Huh. That's really,
yeah.
See, okay. Well, I did not know that.
Right,
sick. I'm even more excited now.
Right, and I don't know. Obviously, that's subjective. But if this season does elevate over the greatness we've seen for 4 seasons, I am here for it.
Absolutely,
because I don't know how you do that, but I want to know.
We're about to find out.
Yep.
If you guys are watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel.
Okay.
If you might like button for us, please leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we've coming your way.
If you'd like to see a full reaction to this and everything else we've watched or watching, please check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. If you're seeing this on YouTube, we're 4 or 5 episodes ahead, including the part 2 of this. Jump over there and check it out. We're also watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive. I'm talking like a Micro Machine Man now because you and I have talked for a minute.
We have.
All right. Sorry about the long intro, guys. For those of you back with us on Patreon, we're going to go and start A Little Kiss Part 1, Episode 1. Here in 3, 2, 1. So we're getting probably a little bit later in the 60s here, like 63-ish, 64 maybe?
3 or 4. I think it's 4. Yeah, it has to be 4 or 5,
Sure.
actually, because we did it with the Kennedy assassination.
Right, right.
That was 63.
You hit one!
What did they do?
Well, it says 68, doesn't it?
Was it? Oh, wow.
There's no way it's 68.
It's possible. Oh, Goldwater 68. There's elections earlier.
Is this what Madison Avenue represents?
Oh, you
Idiots.
They call us savages.
Okay, that wasn't Sterling Cooper, at least.
No, it was not. I feel like Don would be having a...
Oh, someone would be dead. All 3 of those guys would be fired.
Absolutely.
They probably will be anyway from wherever they're working.
They should be.
They look like junior executives.
They should be out the door.
Right? That's going to be bad press.
Yeah. So, new house. Is this Don's house or is this Betty's house?
I'm guessing Betty's. It looks like a kid room. You know, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend does this too. Shout out to a show when they cast young kid actors and they just keep them all the way through, and they're so talented. You know,
they say that pets and kids are the hardest to work with.
I bet,
These
for
kids
sure.
are fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever seen this. She's probably 20 now. This actress in something else, but oh no, it's Don's house.
Hi, Megan.
They recast Bobby. They kept him for a while too.
Is that not? It looks like
Not
him.
Bobby.
Have a happy birthday.
Thank you, Sals.
If we jump forward a few years, then
It makes
he's
sense.
married
Yeah.
for sure.
Say goodnight, honey.
Good night, Daddy.
Aww.
It's your brother's hand.
Is he becoming a better dad?
I hope so.
Right.
So that Gene is huge. Like, even though the last season,
Yeah.
that's a giant baby.
Yeah, we've definitely gone through a time jump here.
I think, yeah. It's not 68, right?
No, it's before, but
Okay.
I'd say 66, 67 because they
Yeah.
had a Goldwater 68
Yeah.
sign up. So,
Somebody will let us know for sure.
well, what's funny about that is Goldwater was so conservative. So obviously those guys working there who put the sign up would hate the civil rights marches
Of course.
downstairs.
That's why it explains the
Right, right.
And his phone rings more.
Joe's not here. And you just took $50 from me.
50.
Let your conscience be your guide.
That's several $100s in
Yeah.
the time. Take the money.
Let your conscience be your guide.
Yeah.
Let Don get his own phone. So Joan had
So
her
Joan
baby.
had her baby. Yeah.
Roger's
Roger's baby. Yeah.
I was right. Somebody was very wet.
When you were that size.
Is that Joan's mom?
child. I guess so.
Have we seen her before?
No.
You're gonna go with Grandma Gail. That's where you're gonna go.
Oh.
As a baby,
That's
huh?
a baby, yeah.
They cast a young in there.
Quick, go to the maternity ward, find a baby.
How is it that Mad Men can use a real baby, but an American Sniper can only use plastic babies?
Dude, it's so bad. And they like lightly CGI the arm, so it's
Did
just
they?
doing this. It's so bad. I've only seen it twice.
That was a little bit of lazy from Eastwood there.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it's not good.
You're invited. I'm not sure who else is. I went through his Rolodex. I crossed out all the clients and everyone he's fired.
Good call.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
There are 6 phone numbers for Herman Phillips. Is he important?
Let's duck.
Don't invite Duck. Please. Not for the whole
They
season.
had a drunken fight last time they saw each other.
I wonder if Don's using his real birthday or Don Draper's birthday as far as age and everything.
I think it's Don Draper.
I think you're right. I think he's probably a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Dick
gotta be.
Whitman is probably a little bit younger than Don Draper.
We'll see.
Joan, he's not going to allow you to work.
Allow me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Joan.
I will go.
And how did that work out for you?
Whoa.
Pump the brakes there, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. That was an unnecessary shot. I mean, I agree with Joan on
I did
principle,
too,
but
yeah,
that was an unnecessary shot. There's a way to communicate your
Yeah, in a nice
disagreeing
way.
with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a seat. You're only one behind, but they're nuclear.
Pete doesn't want him there.
He looks so angry.
Roger, it's an emergency.
Really?
Roger, listen to Pete and get out of there.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, don't make it too obvious.
This is going to come up later.
Sorry, fellas. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
You don't want to know that Roger doesn't actually do anything.
I don't think so.
I should warn you about these two. They're a thirsty lot. Always a pleasure. When you're done with them, just fold them up and slide them under the door.
It's so weird that I really trust Pete's judgment a lot more than Roger's.
I do too. Let's see if he can close after that. You know,
Remember they almost fired him once?
he did almost fire. him.
Yeah.
Come such a long way.
All right.
The iconic label?
The Art of Supper. That's good. That's really good.
I like that.
How do they get the beans to do that? They can't just get lucky.
Stop motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look better in a group, in a bowl. Hell, what's wrong with a spoon?
You're hiring them to sell this for you.
Yeah. I think that sounded good, actually.
It's a great ad. Yeah.
I like beans, though.
It's convenient. They have the hot plate, they're sitting in.
Okay.
He's not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. If you're trying to get a younger generation, then
Yeah.
With a picket sign saying, "We want beans."
Okay, not that route. Yeah.
Beans.
Protesting. It's not the way to
Yeah.
go.
We went beans.
Process. Let me walk you out.
That's a good pitch, though. Like,
I thought it
kinda wanna
was
see
a good
that.
pitch, yeah.
They've definitely done it for like dish
Yeah.
soap and stuff since then.
Yeah.
Pods and stuff like that.
There's always been dancing products, yeah.
We'll get him next time.
Honestly, he's been a lot more cordial with her. You
Yeah,
know what I
he
mean?
is.
He didn't slap her around like he's
No.
like he's done other times when something didn't work.
Okay. Do you think he's happier? I think he's happier. I mean, he's in the honeymoon phase, but
Yeah.
I want you to tell me why Roger Sterling was at my meeting.
I don't know.
I know. Because he hovers over your desk like a damn U2.
Yeah, he saw the schedule. Yeah.
He's looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
Did she hit you?
Thank you, Clara. You've done enough damage for today.
oh, jeez, Pete, calm down.
I understand his frustration, but it's
Yeah,
not her
it's not
fault.
Clara's fault.
Yeah.
I love his pickled guts.
I mean, you need to turn Roger into your ally here.
If
If he doesn't blow it, 'cause
there
Roger
are
blows
ways.
it a
Yeah,
lot.
there are ways to use him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's interesting that Roger's so bored, I guess, that he's like looking at his schedule
Well,
and just
definitely.
inserting himself into meetings.
Yeah. Well, like the secretary said, no one's calling him. You know, he's just there.
Yeah.
Well, she's very impulsive, we know that. I have to go to bed. Tammy will be up in an hour.
Go ahead.
Trudy's a trooper.
She is. He's been a really great wife to him.
Oh yeah, she's been the best. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like
Yeah, she has.
a lot of the resentment for Pete in the beginning was because of how he treated her.
Right. I mean, at least he said he's grateful right there. He definitely wasn't early on.
I think he's come a long way. Honestly,
I do too.
His bottom was definitely what he did to
The
au
au
pair.
pair, yeah, that grossed me out.
it was
Yeah.
disgusting. But at least he's actually made amends.
You have to knock. You have to knock to get in.
What if it started already?
It doesn't matter.
Jesus, Roger.
Oh, rot.
God, yes.
Move on, Raj.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Act surprised.
Surprise! Yeah.
Surprise.
Hey, Stan did show up. He brought his cousin.
Yeah.
This is cool.
It is cool. They nailed the period with
I
this
love the
every
costumes.
time,
The
right?
second
Yeah.
one's great.
Well, I, for one, think you're very brave,
It's really funny because it's like a hippie party.
Yeah.
But that's what you get, Dom, when you marry a girl who's 20 years younger than
Is
you.
it a hippie party? I mean, this is just what's cool then. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's not
influenced
Dawn,
for sure.
though.
It's not Dawn at all. By the way, I love Pete's coat.
I do too.
Roller skates.
Roger, I didn't know you were invited. Or did you just hear I was coming and show up?
That was good.
Is he going bald? Is he?
I don't
think
know.
so.
Yeah. The hair looks the same to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Done. You stay there.
Did you buy him a pony?
Is she giving him a lap dance or something?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's happening?
Oh, is she gonna sing a song?
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Mr. President.
It's French.
Oh, cool. That is cool.
It is.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's quite lovely.
That's Harry. It's Willem Dafoe.
There's the accent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
If anybody there did not like Don, they would hate him after this.
Right.
Yes. You know.
Ah, the level of jealousy in the room right there. We will be playing none of this music on YouTube, of
Can't do it.
course, but
Can't do it.
this is delightful.
Don, don't mess this up. Luckiest man in all of New York. The cutaways are so great.
Dom's like, get out! Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, good
What's
for
you
her.
sing like that?
Why don't you look like him?
Like him.
That's a good answer, Jane.
Yeah.
One has called and complained, so there's no reason everyone shouldn't dance.
See if Don's got any moves.
I want to see Don twist.
We're getting very close to the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood era.
Right?
Oh, come on. I know you had a good time. I can see it.
Say yes. She was. She really,
I just want to go to sleep.
is she really
Hey!
upset? Yeah. Show a little gratitude, man.
Yeah, why are you so...
Come on, man.
I've been 40 for half a year.
When is that going to stop? Only you know that. This is your birthday.
So she does know. Yeah, she knows about the real thing.
I'm going to sleep. You can do what you want.
Don, just say thank you and say
Just
I'm really
say thank
tired. Yeah. There's no reason to make her feel like crap after that.
Yeah, that's horrible. There it is. There's the old...
There,
Don
yeah.
Rick we know.
I love you until I have you.
He's got a beautiful wife that threw him a party and that wants to consummate his birthday, and he's just being an old grump. I don't like birthdays.
He's a master of pushing people away.
He really is.
I've known a lot of people like this. Like the relationship is like it's got to be new and shiny all the time.
Yeah, even Roger's not that bad. You know, I mean, like Roger.
Even Roger's isn't that bad, and Roger's bad, but
Yeah.
he's not that bad.
And she's just, you know, this is just a moment for her now because like she's young and she's not
Right.
gonna want to. I feel bad for her.
I do, but I also feel like she kind of had to know a little bit of what she was getting into when she did it. You know.
All right, that's the end of part one.
Okay.
Okay, so I get it. I get. They want to split that up.
Right.
Okay, so we're not going to talk too much here. We can talk in the next one about the whole episode as a whole. One thing I want to point out, I did really like that how like it's a season premiere, obviously. So like every character introduction was like, "How was your weekend?"
Right.
Like it was like, "Oh, come back
Kind
from
of a
the weekend."
recap. Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend. Let's kind of come back. You know, oh Lane, how are you, Lane? You know, it was nice to like introduce
Right.
everything. You know?
And they do such a good job. Again, this is the perfect example of a show don't tell television series, right? Where you know you trust the audience to pick up on what's going on, to where we kind of got a State of the Union from so many of the central characters, like and where their relationships are. We see that Lane and his wife have at least to some extent reconciled, right? We see that Pete and his wife have reconciled. We see that Roger is Pete's problem now. And that Don's kind of heads in the cloud a little bit.
Yeah.
That I don't know where his focus is.
Also, we saw Jane. We talked about Jane earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
They're kind of like an old married couple now.
Sure, which is great. You know, if you're going to marry somebody, that's you want to get to that point where you are a couple and not like, well, I married my secretary, now what? Which is kind of more of a feeling I got from Dawn than I got from Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it really, one thing I kind of felt with this episode, and I don't know if it has anything to do going forward, if it's just like this the setup, but it felt like Pete was the only one who's really got his eye on the ball.
Well, we've said that for a long time.
And everyone,
season 4.
right? And everyone else just seems to kind of be coasting. Even Ken Cosgrove was like, "Take it easy, baby. These things take time.
60s, man.
Yeah, just relax. Everything's going to be fine." Like everybody seemed to have that sense.
It is like
maybe Peggy still a little bit to the grindstone too.
Yeah,
but she's not a partner, right?
We're all playing fast and loose. It's like, guys, come on.
Right. Well, it's because everything's going well, and you play fast and loose when things are going well. So I don't know how that continues. You can't really make predictions about this show, but I'd say from what we know about Don, his ability to hold this together probably isn't going to be great.
Nope.
I think marital problems are inevitable. We saw the first cracks right now, and and I don't think they've been married very long.
It's I don't want to be too crude, but I think it's mostly a sex thing for Don.
It's possibly,
like he's a man who enjoys that, and nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, like that can't be the only thing driving your relationship, right?
I don't know. I just don't think that he's a healthy enough person to have a real relationship.
But he's stuck in the fun honeymoon era where it's all hooking up and
but I think he wants that. I
do think he wants that. But at the same time,
remember, go ahead.
As soon as she's spending money and bringing attention to the relationship, he's like, no.
Right. Well, I think it's just a simple case of Don. Remember that moving target of the American dream. Don's never going to be happy because he's wired to not be happy. So he should be happy right now. He seemed to be happy when it started, but once things started getting real and he wasn't in charge and able to tell Megan what to do, the luster's off to the point now where he's miserable and out of the game.
And we just saw a brief part of this. Maybe it is just a birthday thing. Maybe it's strictly he's just upset about the birthday. We don't know. Obviously, I don't think going forward in the show that's just going to be the case because we see her on the balcony looking like longing for some love, for some respect, for some gratitude. Because it is mostly just open your blouse. Let's go home. I can send you home now. It's very physical, and she did something very kind, and she put a lot of work into it, and she had a lot of people there, and it was a great party. Like us just watching it, I was like, "This is a blast."
I don't know what Don's looking for. Like what he keeps missing every time he gets with the woman, but it is always short lived. There's always something that happens. In most cases, he's the one that destroys it.
He is. Yep.
And he's really struggled to say no.
Yeah.
Remember with Sal, right?
Yeah.
When they were, he didn't want to hook up with that airline, the flight attendant.
Yeah.
But he did anyway because she didn't let it go.
He told her it's his birthday.
Yeah.
His birthday
Exactly.
Episode,
right. It's like they're. Don is not a strong person.
He's not a strong person.
He's
very weak-willed.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's such a complex guy because in a lot of ways, like when it comes to business and business relationships, he stands on principles really well.
Yes.
But when it comes to his personal relationships, particularly with women,
it's a train wreck.
Right. And I get it. When you look back, we always talk about like how disadvantaged Betty was as a person growing up because let's face it, she wasn't raised to be a complete person.
She was not.
She was trained to be pretty and marry rich. Yeah. And that's what she's supposed to do.
And that's why
to have kids.
We have a lot of empathy for her.
We do. Right. But you also can't discount the fact that Don's own origin story is purely tragic. It's awful.
Yeah.
His mom was a sex worker who died giving childbirth, right? And there's nothing. I'm not saying anything bad about sex work. It's just that his mom wasn't looking to be a mother.
Yeah.
And
she died because of it.
And just as significantly, then Don has to go live with his dad and his wife, who hated him for the fact that of what his origin was. And then his dad dies, and now this woman, right? And now this woman who never wanted him in the first place is stuck raising him. As there's no way Don was going to turn out okay.
No, I mean, I think we are responsible for our own agency, like how we handle ourselves in life, rich, poor,
right, but
everything in between. But back then, when we didn't have that kind of self-reflection,
well, yeah, well, and it's not even the self-reflection. I think that Dawn has put it a huge advantage, just like Betty was, right? Um, and everyone is, right?
Sure.
Roger had incredible financial advantages that made money never be a thing for his whole life.
Yep.
But at the same time, what is he? You know, is a
Yeah.
is a 50-something-year-old nepo baby.
Yeah.
We saw in this episode, right? What does Roger bring to the table? That wasn't handed to him by his dad.
Exactly. Good times is always.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. So Roger, who is witty and clever and charming, and I like him. He does have a lot of good qualities, but professionally at the workplace as a partner, he didn't bring anything but his dad's name, really, and his connection to a company that no longer works with him.
With Roger, it's like he could be used for, whining and dining.
Mhm.
I think that's their guy. You want to take a client out, show him a good time, send Roger.
I don't think Roger's dumb. I think
No, I
he
don't
gets
think
the
he's dumb at all.
business really
He
well and
does.
everything. He's experienced in that regard. And again, as a character, you love him. He's hilarious. He's a likable person.
He's just not like a hunter. He doesn't go out.
He is the anti-Pete right now, and as much as we've hated Pete in the past as a person, Pete seems to be the one person who's really taking the growth of the business seriously.
We've 180'd on him a lot. Yep.
Right. And, is that more important or less important than personal stuff? Absolutely not. But it is a show about an ad agency, largely.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, who is right now taking good care of the ad agency? It seems to kind of be Pete.
It's Pete, and he's feeling
Right.
stressed.
Especially with Joan not there. It's like without Joan there, it's like the children are like lost and walking out into traffic,
Yeah.
for all of them. And Pete's kind of like the one left that's kind of trying to run the partner side of the business, and Peggy is the one trying to run the creative side of the business, and everyone else is just kind of has their heads in the clouds.
Joan's kind of like the Nurse Ratched of the place, but like a nice Nurse Ratched.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, she's definitely in charge.
She is in charge, and I look. She has a kid, so she's gonna take some time away from the office, obviously. But I can't wait to see her back in the office.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hope she comes back doing a little whip cracking.
Oh, yeah.
Because it looks like they need it a little bit.
They definitely need it.
You want to go jump into the next
We're
episode?
gonna take a break. We'll hop into the next one, guys.
See you in a few minutes, guys.